up, boys? I know you read the title before you clicked on this video, and I know you're probably laughing. Balanced DPS? What's this retard talking about? Well, the truth is, balance is pretty alright raid DPS if you forget about their extreme mana issues, their minimal raid utility, and just how goddamn ugly they are. But I know some of you 600 bitches out there are going to want to gimp your entire raid by rolling this piece of shit, so here I am, helping out the little man, like always. Thank me down in the comments. Alright, all jokes aside though, Balanced Druid is decent raid DPS if you bring the proper consumables. And after getting into, you know, the tier 2 Beson slot, it's goddamn huge damage in PvE and PvP. Going so far as to easily one-shot lesser geared players with Starfire. In this guide I'm going to go over your spec, your pre-raid Beson slot for phase 1. I'm pretty sure I got it correct this time. Sorry about the last one. Your rotation, and what consumables you should bring to raid, and a few pro tips as always to help you guys keep up your morale amidst a storm of insults for playing this spec. Alright, starting with your talents. As far as I can tell from the research I've done and the DPS testing that I've done, these are the most optimal talents, I think, that you should be using. Obviously, you're going to want to go all the way down into Moonkin form. Vengeance is very important, Moon Fury is very important, and Nature's Grace is very important. The mana talents, Moonglow, are going to be very important. Everything else is really not important at all. You don't even use Wrath to DPS, but you know, this is kind of what you take. If you wanted to PvP with this spec, you could use Wrath. Wrath is actually pretty fucking strong in PvP, but for the most part, this is going to be your setup, all the way down into Restoration for Reflection. A lot of the specs that I saw took improved Healing Touch. Honestly, I don't think it makes a fucking difference. I took Nature's Focus just because it lets you have that little bit of extra utility available to you as balance, so you can use Tranquility to heal your group. You know, if there's some issues going on with healers dying in fights and things like that, just to pull off a clutch play. But honestly, you could kind of do whatever you wanted with these 3 points, put them legit wherever the fuck you wanted. Not a lot of issues with picking the like 5 good talents for Balanced Druids in the tree, I think. But truth be told here, just full disclaimer, have never played a Balanced Druid in a raid environment. The only experience I have is testing DPS myself here in a solo environment on a target that's being tanked, essentially. So if you would like to try out, you know, a different spec for yourself, please feel free. But I think for the most part, I got the important ones. Up next, we've got your pre-raid Beson slot. The first piece is going to be the Green Lens of Arcane Wrath. This is made with engineering. It's essentially like it's crafted and it has nothing on it. It's randomized, and you have a chance to kind of get anything. You can get a Fiery Wrath of stamina, and it'll give you extra stamina. It always has the +10 stamina on it, and then you get that that other random attribute. You're going to want to craft until you get arcane spell damage, or actually honestly buy it because the arcane damage ones are going to be really cheap. Your second piece is going to be the Star of Mystaria. Star of Mystaria, said that right, I'm pretty sure. That drops off Balnazar in Strat Living. Shoulders are going to be the Elder Wizard's Mantle. This is a world drop BOE. It'll be cheap on launch, but as the servers go on, it will get more expensive as less people are leveling. Going to be best to buy this very early in your playthrough if you are planning on playing Balance. Beson slot cape is going to be the Archivist Cape of Arcane Wrath. This is another one of those random things, kind of like with the goggles. It drops off of Archivist Galford in Strat Living. Can have any stat on it. So this is going to be kind of hard to get, but if you do want to be the best at Balance, you do need this. Otherwise, you can go for a Green Cloak of Arcane Wrath until you can get your hands on this. The chest piece is going to be the Robes of the Royal Crown. This drops off of Emperor Dagran Tharasan in Blackrock Depths. Razors are going to be the Flameweave Cuffs of Arcane Wrath, just like with the other items, obviously. These are going to drop off of Lord Incendius, and they're going to have a random stat on them. They're always going to have the +10 to fire resist, but they could roll with anything else after that of the Eagle, of the Monkey. You're going to have to work for of Arcane Wrath. It's going to be very tough, but if you want the best, obviously you got to farm it. Gloves are going to be the Slaghide Gauntlets of Arcane Wrath. These are huge +30 arcane spell damage. These drop off of Urok Doomhow and Lower Blackrock Spire, and it's a random statted item as well. Benthok Sash, you really need this because getting hit rating in this phase is really hard for spellcasters, especially ones that don't have spell hit talents. So you're going to have to go out of your way for this one. It drops off of the Arena Fight, one of the random bosses in the Arena Fight of Blackrock Depths, Okthor the Breaker. Sky Shroud Leggings, best in slot for every caster DPS in the game. These drop off of High Lord Omok and Lower Blackrock Spire. Omnicast Boots drop off of Golem Lord Argolmok in Blackrock Depths. Pretty easy boss. These will be easy for you to get, hopefully. Eye of Orgrimmar. This is a quest reward, horde only. You get this quest to save the princess in Blackrock Depths. It's a part of the last boss fight in the dungeon. Whenever you save her, if you kill Emperor without killing the princess, you will get this as a reward. And your second best in slot ring is Maiden Circle. This is just a random world drop BOE. I'm pretty sure that if you are a Alliance player, your best in slot ring is just going to be 2 of these. They are not unique. It's essentially the exact same spell power as Eye of Orgrimmar, but they're going to be very expensive, so I'm sorry to you guys. Best in slot trinket, Briarwood Reed. This is a drop off of Jed Rune Watcher in Upper Blackrock Spire. Very, very, very hard trinket to get. Best of luck to you getting it, but it is the best and you won't replace it for a long time. Second best in slot trinket is Eye of the Beast. This is a quest reward for the Blackrock Spire quest chain. It starts with a quest to go into Lower Blackrock Spire and kill the last boss, and then go into Upper Blackrock Spire and kill Rend. Very easy trinket to get. Your best in slot weapon is going to be the Witchblade. This drops off of Dark Master Gandling and Skullomance. He's the very last boss. It's pretty hard. And your best in slot offhand is the Drake Stone of Arcane Wrath. This drops in Sunken Temple. There are 4 dragons in there that fly around, and they have a chance to drop this, and it has a chance to drop as of Arcane Wrath. It's going to be pretty tough to get. With all of these of Arcane Wrath items, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of them, I think, 5 of them. With all of these, you can really supplement these with just green items of Arcane Wrath, and these will hold you over for a very long time until you can get these. These items are the very best that you can get. They are, but they're tough to get. So until you can get your hands on them, I would supplicate for any other spell power piece or any green of Arcane Wrath. Those will really hold you over for a long time. Alright, I'm going to quickly go over the rotation for Balanced Druid with you guys. Balanced Druids boast one of the most intense and skill-required DPS rotations in vanilla. First, you're going to cast Moonkin form, alright? Then you're going to charge up a very powerful, and I cannot stress this one enough, Starfire. After your initial Starfire, you're going to immediately follow that one up with another Starfire. I know this can be confusing, so I'm going to add a small diagram on the screen of which button to press for your DPS rotation. Alright. I'll stop fucking with you. The entire rotation is just Starfire, if you didn't get it, if my joke was bad. The whole rotation is Starfire. You just spam Starfire, that's it. That's your entire rotation. Occasionally you're going to hop out of Moonkin form, cast an Innervate on yourself, or more likely a healer. Cast a mana potion, you know. Little quick Dark Rune, bam bam, and then you're just gonna spam Starfire. Now, at first, I know a lot of people, if you've never played Classic before, or you don't remember from back then when you did play, every caster rotation is just one button. So don't let this kind of deter you from playing the class, because the rotation is very simple. It's like this for Frost Mages, it's like this for, you know, the Warlocks that are going to be DPSing. It's just Frostbolt, it's just Shadow Bolt. The only caster that has like a semi-decent rotation is the Shadow Priest, and it's just 2 buttons instead of 1. But all caster DPS in vanilla are kind of like this. And Starfire hits really fucking hard. You get some big crits with it. If you'll notice here on the screen, maybe previously I got a, there's a big one, 2368, 2296. Shit, here we go. Boomkin, baby. I guess one more thing on the rotation before I forget. You will run out of mana on longer fights, especially during progression. If you can't afford flasks of distilled wisdom, you're gonna run out of mana on the longer fights. Now, the only option you really have during these fights is to melee. If you've leveled your melee skill up, which honestly a lot of balanced druids do this, you can actually get a pretty decent two-hand weapon, like a Fist of Omok from Lower Blackrock Spire, or just a quest reward two-hand, and you can use this to kind of supplement DPS. A lot of times back in the day, before people really knew what was going on with druids, they would take this talent, increases the damage you deal with physical attacks in all forms, and then this talent, Omen of Clarity. And a lot of people would just melee until they got an Omen of Clarity proc while they were very low on mana, and they would use another Starfire. You can do this if you want to supplement DPS, and it does kind of change the sort of the dynamic of the class. But I think a lot of people are going to look at you weird if they see you doing it. But if they do, just kind of explain to them, you know, it's a balanced druid thing. For your consumables, you're going to go with Elixir of the Sages, Elixir of Greater Intellect, Greater Arcane Elixir. These are going to be the 3 elixirs you use always, as long as you can afford them. For your weapon buff, you're going to use Wizard Oil, basic Wizard Oil. This should definitely be available in Phase 1 as far as I can tell. If you're somehow very, very wealthy, you know, very early in the game, and they're available, you're going to want to get a Flask of Distilled Wisdom if your guild is still in progression. If your guild is done with progression, you're going to want to take a Flask of Supreme Wisdom. I'm sorry, of Supreme Power. Supreme Wisdom. Of Supreme Power, and this is actually going to increase your DPS by about 100 or so. And all the sets that I could get going with it, it gave me about an extra 100 DPS, which is huge, fucking huge. For the buff food, you're going to take any food that gives MP5, Sagefish Delight, or Nightfin Soup. I'm pretty sure Nightfin Soup won't be available in Phase 1, but if it is, get Nightfin Soup. And for your in-combat consumables, you're going to want a Major Mana Potion and Dark or Demonic Runes. It's very, very important that you get the best mana potions that you can as a balanced druid. I can't stress this enough. A lot of classes you can kind of bring the smaller mana potions because they're way cheaper. Major mana potions are going to be very expensive. But it's very, very, very important that you bring the best mana potions you can because you are going to need them without a shadow of a doubt. Okay. The last thing I have for you guys, and what I do at the end of all my videos for people who are feeling like they want to try out the Druid class, I've got some tips for you guys. These are tips just to keep your morale up, to keep you positive about playing the class that you want to play, and you know, give you that extra little bit of motivation to keep pushing, to get in that raid environment with that non-meta class and show people what it can do. With that said, tip number 1 is going to be have thick skin. Everyone's going to bust your balls about playing balance, man. Everybody. Your guild mates, any pug that you join, you know, random level 34s and Orgrim are going to be like, what is this dude doing? Hell, if I see you in any of my groups, I'm going to bust your balls. What the fuck you doing? You know? But honestly, don't stress it. I've played off meta specs plenty of times now over the years on private servers and back on live whenever I was playing vanilla, to know that it's really rewarding. You're going to find a very rewarding experience in playing this class. Don't let people busting your balls get to you. Just have fun, you know, enjoy yourself. And that's what vanilla is about. It's not about these meta specs. It's not about this cookie cutter bullshit that the current game is about. Just play what you like and have fun doing it. Tip number 2 is going to be farm your consumables. I say this in almost every video as a tip, but it's so important, man. If you don't bring the required consumables to play this kind of class, this off-meta class, you're going to be so far behind in DPS, you're going to look like dead weight. And honestly, if someone doesn't farm consumables, they seriously don't deserve gear. So farm your consumables and, you know, do your part. I mean, do you think these lazy-ass undead mages hyped up off their 6th time watching Inverter 3 are going to be out here farming consumables? No, hell no. Be above these casuals, man. Go out there, try hard, show that you're worth to bring to this raid. And for tip number 3, get a resto set, but don't tell your guild. Seriously, cannot stress this enough. Get a resto set. Don't tell your guild. Use this to just farm your pieces, the pieces that are going to be really hard, the of Arcane Wrath, the pieces that you're just having bad luck with. This is going to help you get gears much much faster than if you were playing balanced DPS. First of all, DPS is going to be heavily saturated. The benefit of being a druid is that you don't actually have to DPS if you don't want to, like these other classes do. You can heal, you can tank. As this spec, the regular balance spec that I showed you guys, this takes the mana reduction talents for healing touch, and you have reflection. If you do decide you want to do the healing thing, I would take improved healing touch over nature's focus. But if you get yourself a healing set, you can heal with this spec. You don't need to respec at all, and you're going to get your gear much more quickly. It's definitely worth it. Alright guys, that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched to this point in the video, thank you so much. Thank you for watching the entire video. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of time into these, so even if only 5% of you make it all the way to the end, just know that I appreciate you. If you want to help my content grow, please leave a like on the video, comment. YouTube favors content with interaction on it, so even if you had some things that you didn't agree with or you didn't like about the video, or if you just think I'm a dumbass, feel free to say so down in the comments. I will appreciate any interaction at all that you bring. I hope you guys have a great day.